Now that you've earned your items, your ingredients from running the wilderness, I'm going to show you how to get your mount and weapons. So if you just from facing the gate, if you just turn around, the first person you'll see is this wondrous mount vendor. So if you interact with him, uh, what you want for it, gold, platinum, and then say, tell me more. All right, let's trade, and we'll see list, and we need a this horseshoe. I think you can only get this at epic levels, but we can get this now. So this goes at 80% movement speed. I think I incorrectly said 75% movement speed in the other video, but it looks like it's 80% movement speed. So we'll turn this in for 15 feathers. The types are chestnut, palomino, which is sort of a lighter colored horse, dun horse, which I don't know what that is. Looks a little lighter than this chestnut though, and buckskin, which is another light horse. I like the darker looking horse. I'm going to go for this one. Hit select, and now I have the mount. Just make sure the feathers are bound to account. So make sure you put it on the character you want, because once you create it, the mount is bound to character and can't be changed. In this case, as a free-to-play account, I only have one playing character, so this is exactly where I want it. Uh, all right, so if you kind of go to your right and circle around, you will find the Weaponsmith. He's right by where all the quests are. So we're going to talk to the Weaponsmith and say, okay, I have some ingots for level 2. What can you make me? And let's take a look at quarterstaffs. He's got a silver and an ethereal. We're going to need this a ghost touch weapon. What I don't know yet is whether we're going to stick with quarterstaff or go to greatsword, because there are some enhancements in paladin team. Let me see. Great sword might be one word. All right. So there are some enhancements in paladin that will allow me to make greatsword my favorite weapon. If I look here, level 3 paladin. So +2 attack and damage with your favorite weapons. You gain greatsword as a favorite weapon. So right now my only favorite weapon is quarterstaff, but the greatsword is a much stronger weapon. It has 2d6. It has a critical of 19 to 20 instead of 20. Quarterstaff does have a way to get to that same crit profile, but unfortunately, it's only 1d6 by default, and 20 times 2, and it can get to that same crit profile with the feat, but then I have to burn a feat slot. So with Greatsword, I don't have to do that. With the Rogue Splash, I do have the ability to speed up quarterstaff, so there's some advantages there. My quarterstaff attacks are 15% faster. I don't know if that stacks with some of the items that make your attack speed faster, or whether it's does not stack. So if it doesn't stack, it really does me no good, because at some point I'll have a 15% attack speed from items. But I believe it does stack. Normally these enhancements stack with everything. So I'll have to test it out. So what I'm going to probably do is just hold off on crafting my weapon, but I wanted to show you how to craft them. The reason is I just don't want to take up my inventory space until I'm sure what I want to craft. So that's pretty much it for crafting horse and weapon. The one other thing that I would like to look at is the auction house, and the reason is that prior to coming to Borderlands, I had maybe 400 or 500 plat, and from all those wilderness runs I did, uh, I'm close to 4,000. I believe my plat limit is 5,000, and I'm going to be at this level for quite a while. So now, we probably can't get much, but let's see what is available for level 3. I'm going to look, I'll go ahead and look at 1 to 3, because sometimes you get some nice weapons at 1. And let's start with Greatsword. All right, well that doesn't look so good. They want 10,000, which we can't afford, and it's really not a good item. It's really for spellcasters. So I don't know. I'm surprised they're even putting it up there. But let's take a look at great axes. Axiomatic insight. So we are lawful. Axiomatic is lawful. So we do an extra 1d6 law damage. Um, and we don't have to worry about the suffering a negative level because we are lawful. Insight increases our threat generated. That's really neither here nor there for soloing. It is good if you want to get the pressure off hirelings. So maybe at some point we'll look at that. Uh, so the pressure is on us instead of hirelings. But sometimes you want the pressure on hirelings. So I don't know if we want this on our weapon all the time. Let's take a look at quarterstaff under simple weapons. All right. These are all, these combustive, corrosive, devoted, reconstructed. Those are all spell powers. So every one of these quarterstaffs is a caster quarterstaff and not a melee quarterstaff. The only melee quarterstaff we've seen is the one we got from the Harbor Guard, Chilling Deadly. So this still looks like our best quarterstaff. We haven't really seen a weapon that's better. We'll stick with this for now. We might possibly make a another item. For sure, when we start Reaper, we'll make another item, whether that's a quarterstaff or a great sword, we don't know yet. We do have a great axe in the bank, so I'm probably going to just pull that out. Um, the bank in Keep on the Borderlands is sort of hidden a little bit. It's between these buildings back here. All right, I'm going to pull this out now, and I want to be able to test between the quarterstaff and the great axe. And so I'm going to put this. I probably don't need to save this because it only cost me like 5 copper or whatever to buy, but 1 copper. So I'm just going to delete this. It's not worth the inventory space. I have 2 weapons now. I have a backup bow and don't have a quiver yet, but I'll probably put a quiver in there to keep some arrows. And let's see if there's anything else. So we have this minor mnemonic enhancer. Um, the major ones are the ones that people really want. These minors are nice, but still it's a rare drop. We don't get many of them. In a life, you might get 3 or 4 of these, and they're very valuable to casters. So what we're going to do is keep it. What I've liked to do is when I am in a raid or a group with a caster and they're having to take spell point potions to cast spells, I like to give them a couple of these to kind of replenish their supply. So I'm just going to keep this in the bank. If we get low on inventory, it's probably going to get sold. It's one of those things we don't really need it right now. We might. I mean, it could come in handy. I mean, it might be when we get to a higher level and we have spell points. Self-healing, maybe we'll stick it in there and use it in a pinch. But as of right now, I'm guessing it's either going to get given away or sold. Uh, Gloves of the Scoundrel, I'm going to have as a swap item. These death block fortification bracers, I don't want to sell them right now because I think that we're going to go over our money limit here very soon. So I'm going to stick them in the bank. Um, right now I like these ones, but we might get to a level where it kind of sneaks up on you where you need a death block item. So it's nice to just have one in the bank when you get it early and just in case. And fortification is really nice too. At this level it doesn't matter, but it reduces your chance of a critical hit, and so death block fortification is actually a nice combination of a prefix and a suffix. So that's about it. That's where we stand after the Keep on the Borderlands Wilderness. We just got, it was a lot of runs. We made a lot of money. That's probably going to be true in the harbor too. Marketplace or the Korthos doesn't really give you much worth money, so that's why we made very little there. So next on the agenda, right now we have 2 ranks. I think we've already spent that. No, we haven't. But we have the attack speed, and we have this, and so um, this is probably all we're going to do with quarterstaffs. If anything, if we think great axe might have more potential, we might drop it. But I think for now we'll stick with quarterstaff, even though we don't have that, the Swords of Plowshare feat that gives it the extra crit multiplier. I'm going to go ahead and stick this point here. It's a little bit of a toss-up. We have the Sacred Defender tree, and that gives hit points as well as some defenses. We'll probably at some point reset all of this when we start Reapers. When we start Reapers, I definitely want to have a little more defense. And so, but for now, I'm going to put this on this point here. It gives us 1d4 light damage, plus 1 to attack. I think it's just evil creatures. Plus 1 to attack evil creatures and the 1d4 light damage. That scales with melee power, but of course we don't have much now. And then we gain pluses to our saves against spells by evil creatures. So all that's good. And that opens up this tree here. And there's some really cool things in this tree that we want. Plus 1 attack and damage to favored weapons. Currently, just the quarterstaff is great. This is probably the best thing here. It's plus 20% strike through for three ranks. So what we'll probably do is, take 3 ranks of this and then put a point somewhere. And I would say the best place is either an additional extra smite or plus 1 attack and damage. And then the second tier, which is available for us at level 4, we get a melee cleave, which is critical. One of the things about Paladin is they're kind of feat starved, and so they've put these cleaves that normally take 3 feats to get into this tree, and so we'll probably start taking these as soon as we can. Uh, this works out really good. We have a rogue in the rogue tree. We have a haste boost, and then in the um, Knights of Chalice tree, we have a damage boost. So we'll be able to use damage and haste boosts quite a bit. Once we get there. But to me, the cleave is the most interesting thing, and then secondarily is the divine might. Now our charisma is only 16 with ship buffs, so that's plus 3. Or no, it's half, so it's plus 1 rounded down. So not super urgent. As we get better gear and higher charisma, this will become more important. But to start, I'll probably ignore this, and I'll probably go to this exalted attack. This range damage boost and same with this haste boost are interesting because they don't scale by levels. So I mean, to get a 30% attack speed at this level is pretty incredible. So we might explore those as well. So that's where we're at. End of Keep of the Borderlands Wilderness. Next up is going to be Keep of the Borderlands quests on normal, and then we'll figure out what we want to do in hard. But one thing is we'll be staying at level 3 for a while, probably until we max out um, all the level 4 ranks, and that way, from this point on, we'll probably be leveling up and already be at max, close to max XP, as opposed to just leveling up as soon as we can, which we did for the first couple levels to get a little more power.